Hello, audience, and welcome to Breadcrumbs to Passion, the podcast where we inspire you with deeper, connected conversations for you to have fun and live wholeheartedly. We are your co-hosts.
I am Amanda Giebel,
And I'm Jason French.
and
And yeah,
today we'll be doing episode number 4, Inspired Action.
fantastic. So this is a bit of a exciting topic that was coming forward to us today about inspired action. Number one, because of our little inspired bubble that we have here, that she loves inspired action. So I thought, hey, why not just go for it and see how we could be inspired with action. So why would we want to be inspired to take action?
I feel inspired action is an awesome topic. Look, we've been having some technical difficulties again, and
You feel inspired to take action.
I'm literally in inspired action by standing with my feet apart so I can sit lower so I'm fitting in the screen. So I feel like inspired action is just sometimes you've just got to do these things. It doesn't matter what's going on in life. Inspired action, it just, if there's something that needs to be done, it just has to be done to get you to that next level or to make things happen.
Mm. So the thing that I kind of had to think about myself was around action, obviously coming from masculine energy, inspired coming from feminine energy. So that I thought was pretty cool how when we're actually in that place of inspiration, it comes from that feminine side. And so a lot of people take action, 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 but they don't necessarily, it's not inspired action. So this is, I think, is a great topic for us to really delve into a little bit more in regards to that. So I think, how would I know, for instance, that I was inspired to take that action? How would I know that? What's some of the things that happens for you, Amanda, that you when you're inspired to take action, what is it that happens for you that you go, bang, I'm inspired to make that happen?
Yeah. For me, it's all about gut feeling. So when I get that feeling in my gut where it's like I can't explain the process, it just gets downloaded to me. So like information comes to me where I'm like, I have to act on this. And
Mm.
and it's what I do in my business. And I'm sure you're probably the same. Like I write content in that inspired action place because I can really connect with it. It's got feeling behind it, like I'm really sitting in that zone and it's just coming to me. What I need to get out to the world just comes to me in that spot where I can just sit with it.
Yeah,
Um,
so it's actually really great that you say that, because I think I was thinking about this myself recently, especially around this particular topic, because when it comes to that place of me feeling inspired to do something, it's about that alignment. So how can we get ourselves aligned again? It's really to give ourselves that space to be in alignment, for us to connect, and then obviously take the necessary action to go with that. So we can sit there in inspiration all day, but then not take action, or else we can be in balance with both, of taking that inspiration and then making it happen, as we have done obviously recently with even the podcast. It was something that we were inspired, with each other. So we took the action to make that happen,
yeah.
uh, and to put it out there. So um, the one of the things that I find a lot of people struggle with around this particular area is them not being clear. So like you were saying before, I think it's around that clarity, isn't it?
Mm. I think I think it's knowing yourself for one. Like you've got to know where you source your inspiration from. So for me, I know that if I go either sit in a park or I'm sitting at a coffee shop, I know that I can get pretty clear on what things just come to me in that regard. Whereas if I'm at home, there's so many other things that I can be focused on that I can't get to that spot where I'm really feeling it.
Mm.
So being outside of the house for me, I know that if I'm sitting in a park in nature or I'm sitting at a coffee shop where I can just be really zoned into that moment, that's where my good work comes from
You
because I
just
can. Feel it.
Yeah, absolutely. We love it when we can feel it.
That's
So the thing that I was going to share, and what I think is beautiful that you've actually just brought that into to play right now, is that how we heal is how we learn. So inspiration is very much the same. Like you're very much a visual person. So to get you inspired, I just got to draw pictures, and then you're inspired.
that's
To
winning.
get me inspired, you just have to, you know, bring that feeling out. And then the next minute, I'm like, yes, I'm inspired. So we just had a little warm up before, didn't we, of me getting inspired because I had to feel, and it was very zen at the time. So it's kind of like getting into that place of feeling, yes, inspired action. So for us to take action, it was quite exciting. So they're just like little techniques, I suppose, that you can kind of do with yourself. And obviously, if you're trying to inspire your team or your family members, whoever it is that you're trying to inspire in your world, what you'll find is if you can't inspire yourself, it's going to be harder for you to inspire someone else. So first work on you. The second thing is understand that how they get inspired. Because like I said, visuals for you, it's like you were jumping off the chair every time I drew a picture. It's like, yes, I want to do this. So
You're speaking my language.
yeah.
Or you're drawing my picture.
Oh, you're drawing my picture. Absolutely. And so that's where, like when you said about being in the park, for instance, you're getting visuals around you. So they come to you and obviously inspire action for you to do something with that, which is another great thing to look at it as well, don't you think, is about the signs that we get.
Yes. Yes. So I think it's more about being in the moment. Like as soon as we are present, we can allow these greater things to inspire us. Whereas, going back from our last episode where it was like in our head, if that's happening all the time, if that chaos is happening, there's less of a chance that you're going to be able to dig deep into that inspired action.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is amazing. Amazing. So the other thing that I want to look at around this particular area for people is, so we know, when that happens for us, how to do that, and why we would want to have inspired action, obviously, is for us to be able to create and take ourselves to the next level, like you said right in the beginning, was us to evolve from where we are currently or to move us to something new. And a lot of people, I think, sort of sit there sometimes and go to that place of when is it going to change? Does that make sense? Like you might be really inspired in taking action, but it's like, and I know this in my own business, like there's been times that I've been inspired, I write this content, I create courses, I do all this sort of stuff. And then all of a sudden I'm like, God, like when's it going to change? And like when's people going to start seeing this on a different level? And what happens is a lot of people get disheartened in that moment. I'm just glad that I'm not that kind of person, because I say if your dream's big enough or if it's your dream, it's uncrushable. So
I believe like it comes to that point where you've got to keep going. Like it's not just going to happen overnight. And because we're so used to having this instant gratification where everything's so accessible and like, I should have instant results like that. I've done it for a day. I've done it for 2 days. Oh, actually, I've done it for a week. Why is this not changing? It's like, at that moment when you're kind of like at the point where you're about to give up, the next moment is that turnaround. So it may be 1 week, 2 weeks, 10 months, who knows what that point is. But at the point where you're like, yep, I just can't do it anymore, I'm gonna give up, watch what happens. It's the turnaround point, and that's when that action will step into gear. And
I think the thing that's really great about that as well is around that place of sometimes it may be just a slight step to the left to get further inspiration to come back into moving that door to go into a new doorway rather than the exit door. Is that right?
Yes. Look, sometimes we have this one-track mind of that's the way we're going to do it. But we also have to open ourselves up to accepting there could be a slightly different path or a slightly different door to go down to get you to that result quicker.
Yeah.
So it's also about being open. So opening ourselves up to not knowing that, maybe we don't have all the answers.
Mm.
Maybe the answers will come to us if we take just one step to the side or one different door. Maybe the answers will come.
So what you're saying is if I let go of taking control, I can be more inspired in taking my action.
Coming from your heart space where we love to come from. That was the whole purpose of doing our podcast. But yeah, well that's really it. It's like, well, just being present in that moment, and maybe, someone, something, some place, some situation
Mm.
that, if that little nudge in your stomach, or that vision of, okay, I just have to go this way today. Usually I go this way, and I'm doing this and I'm doing this and I'm doing this, and then all of a sudden one day you get that. It's like if you want to go in the car and all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'm going to take a different street today. And then guess what happens? You find the answer along the way.
Absolutely. And that can inspire you to take the new action that you require.
Well, it's going to get you there quicker because that was that guidance that you had to follow to
Mm.
make the inspired action. Whereas sometimes the wheels in the motion are going, are going, are going, are going. And it's like they're probably going backwards because we're not technically on the right path.
Mm. Yeah, I think that's a great idea to put it that way too. Is your inspired action what what it needs to take doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be where you think it needs to go. So
Mm.
it's being open, like you said, to the possibilities elsewhere for that to be able to create the change or give you the, I suppose, the new fuel, reignition if need be to go forward. I think there's another part about this as well that I think a lot of people don't really get around inspiration. So inspiration can also be only temporary.
Mm.
And the other thing is motivation. It's temporary. However, transformation is longevity.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
to get to transformation, however, you need to be inspired and motivated to be able to transform your life or transform the situation. So, and that all comes through that heart space, like you were sharing before. So, what may be something in your life right now that you're maybe lacking a little bit of inspiration is because you haven't dared to dream, you haven't dared to look outside or look for different perspectives, like you were sharing before, and you haven't maybe looked at the other possibilities that are right there in front of you. So they everything might be right there in front of you, but if you're in that place of rejection all the time, you can literally take away from where that could take you, as you were saying before.
Yeah, and as you said, it's like that shift, which could be that 1 centimeter shift,
Mm,
right? To take that different road to work that day. It's
yeah.
like, why did I do that? And it's actually really good idea, like to challenge our mind to do these things on a regular basis, because we get, it's like that autopilot where
Mm,
you get to work, but you're not even aware of how that happened because it's so regiment that you do that every day. So it's really good to kick our brain up a gear and get that inspiration again, but in a sense of just going that different way to work. Like,
mm.
let's just use that as an easy example. But if you did that all the time, it keeps the mind guessing and it keeps you inspired. Whereas if you are bored, let's say going to work that same way every day, you see the same stuff, even though it's on autopilot, it's very boring.
Absolutely. And I think that's another thing. This just come to my mind when you said that was about people's nutrition and also their physical activity can be the same. If it's regimented, they lose interest, they do all that sort of stuff. And I really believe in intuitive health and well-being. So to me, it's like if you're inspired to go for a walk, or if you're inspired to go for a run, or if you're inspired to literally do a weight session, go
Yeah.
and do it.
Yeah.
like don't hold back in thinking that you need a program to make that happen, because that could just get your momentum happening. I mean, one of the things when I was losing my 35 kilos was I'd wake up every morning to go to the gym and I would still be asleep by the time I got there. But my inspiration was obviously to get that feeling at
Yeah.
the end of it. So when I'd wake up, I'd have my gym gear right beside my bed so that I would straight into it and then straight to the gym. And then when I got to the gym, working out on a treadmill at first, I would then all of a sudden be inspired to go through the process.
Yeah.
Bit similar to the whole nutrition thing too. It was a bit of a challenge for me because of just, loving all kinds of food. And the thing that was really interesting about it is coming back into being inspired to do that differently as well. So there's not just like necessarily having to have a bigger vision. It may simply be some small steps in your current life that you may be requiring some kind of inspiration in.
Or even relationships,
Mm.
because some friendships, some family members, they may not be in the best and highest good for us to really, be associated for long periods of time. So it's across the board. It's not just, this one-way track. Again, we've got to have balance across everything. But at the end of the day, balance comes from being present and understanding what we need in all areas of our life.
So what you're saying really is coming back to the truth of who we are.
Yeah, tuning into who we are, what we do, how we show up. Like the more we can be truthful and honest with, okay, this feels good or this doesn't feel good, and knowing that. But
okay, I like that, because when it feels good and doesn't feel good. So sometimes when we're having to break through something, it's not going to feel good, is it?
No.
So how can we be inspired to go through that feeling, not thinking it's not for us?
Okay, so coming back to what I said before, usually it's that place where you're like, nah, I'm not doing it, don't want to do it. I'm out, cut me out. Do that one more day of sitting in that uncomfortable feeling, then it will change. So it's just maybe pushing to that next step. And again, you have a look how life changed. If life starts to change, well, then it's a good step forward. If you're feeling it's like that one step is good, like in a month's time, or say, like if you go to the gym and you've got your routine, you've got your structure, and you're enjoying you doing your weights. After a month, if it's still feeling good, if it's still feeling like, yep, I'm going to the gym, I'm doing this, I'm inspired to keep going, and you're on the right path.
Yeah.
When things start coming up and they're like roadblocks all the time, like, why am I not feeling good? Why am I not feeling good? When I'm with this person, I'm not feeling good. When I'm in this situation, I'm not feeling good. Okay, for me, that means maybe wrong path. It's knowing yourself. It's literally knowing yourself, being present.
It's so true. And I think sometimes that, as well as like, it might be simply the fact that you might not be in that space yourself. You want to be polite or whatever in social settings or whatever like that, and it's not necessarily in that place for you. So inspiration does come from that place where you're in tune with yourself, like you said before. So getting that clarity, in tune with you, is really, really important. What's the second one you think is another big thing from what we've shared today?
Well, the clarity, just knowing, and
So know thyself.
Knowing the self, but then knowing that, just give it that little bit more of a chance. If you're getting to that place where you're like, I'm out, just give it that 1 or 2 more days, or one more week. Like, you've been doing the hard yards for so long. Just give it that little bit more of a chance, and then reassess after that.
It may simply, what you're saying there, it may simply just be rest.
Say that again.
It may simply be rest.
Yeah. But again, how do we know to rest? Where does that come from?
Yeah, it comes back to us. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like you were saying before, the first thing was alignment. The second thing was knowing yourself, so that you know when to obviously take action, when not to take action, or uh, your environment, basically all that awareness. And the third one, what do you think would be really powerful for people today to take with them
Just
or inspire them?
yeah, the more that we can just slow down and really just be in that place where your mind's quiet.
Mm.
So quietening the mind, getting in tune. If it means to have 5 minutes before, you go into a social setting that you're feeling a little bit anxious around, just take that 5 minutes, take a few deep breaths. Like, just don't rush.
Mm.
I can put my hand up for that one. Like, everything in my life was like go, 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 go. A bit coming back to that masculinity, like everything's go, 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 go. So it's been a challenge for me to be able to drop back into my feminine when I need to.
Yeah.
Because I'm so used to go, 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 go. And it's the same in the car, like that. Okay, I'm just going to go this way today. Oh, next day, I'm just going to go the same way and the same way.
So what you're actually saying is be adaptable.
Inspiration
Comes from being adaptable.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. That is pretty amazing for today of taking inspired action. So if there's any way that we can support you, by all means, please reach out, and we love to support you in taking inspired action on whichever that is for you. Doesn't matter what particular area, because it all comes back to, like Amanda said before, knowing yourself. So if you know yourself, you'll know different areas in your life that needs to be inspired to take new action, or take action that's going to allow it to go that one step further.
Yeah. And I think that's like just another point on that is, like coming back to the self, and us helping people get to that point. But, we've had a conversation yesterday where we're really excited. Like, we've found some inspired action from the vision that we have, that we are going to bring to this world and the people that we work with. So it's because we know where we're at, we know what we can bring to the world, coming back to just coming from that heart-centered space. So yeah, it's really exciting what we've got coming up as well. So I think it's important to probably mention, this is one way that we're going, but we've got these other doors that we're opening up. So we're, to inspire some more people.
Awesome. So you have been listening to the Breadcrumbs to Passion podcast, and we look forward to sharing with you next week on our next episode. Until then, be brave.
And sit in silence, sit in clarity, take some inspired action from your gut feeling, and really just ignite the power within.
Sounds awesome. Bye.
Bye.